Folks, you see the guy in front of you. His name is Ajit Pai. That's P-A-I. And over this past week, his vote, being the chairman of the Federal Communications Commission, has made a decision that is going to affect at least 150 plus million American people. What's going to happen shortly is that this person is going to allow internet or net neutrality to disappear. What does that actually mean? It means that if you use AT&T or Verizon or any other internet service provider, if for some reason they happen not to like Netflix or Hulu or any other streaming service, merely by issuing a notification to all of its subscribers, they can either throttle down or completely block access to that site. Now, I use various streaming services, and this is going to have an effect on me and people who create their own various internet facilities, websites, etc. This is going to put us at a severe disadvantage unless, in some cases, we either pay to have our service streamed at top level speeds or not to be blocked, or in the case of us subscribers, that we pay an additional fee in order to not have various websites blocked. Now, we would love to say or blame this on Donald Trump, since he appointed this gentleman as the head of the FCC. But in all fairness, we can't blame this 100% on Donald Trump. If you really want to lay a little blame on this gentleman being in the position that he's in, we need to go back to the previous administration. This was a Barack Obama appointee to the FCC. Now, I'm going to read you the guy's history so that you could see it for yourself. Ajit Raj Pai, chairman of the Federal Communications Commission, born January 10, 1973 in Buffalo, New York. His educational background is the University of Chicago, and surprise, surprise, he attended Harvard University. Now, this particular guy was born to immigrants. So where was Donald Trump as far as blocking those? But his mother and father were both from India. His father, I believe, was a doctor. This guy, in 1998, moved to Washington, D.C. He worked for the United States Department of Justice Antitrust Division as an honors program trial lawyer on the Telecommunications Task Force. 2001, he left the Department of Justice to serve as Associate General Counsel at Verizon Communications, where he handled competition matters, regulatory issues, and counseling of business units on broadband initiatives. He left Verizon in 2003 and was hired as the Deputy Chief Counsel to the United States Senate Judiciary Committee Subcommittee on Administrative Oversight and the Courts. Excuse me. In 2012, he wrote an op-ed in the Washington Post criticizing a government-funded research project named Neutrality at Indiana University, which was studying the spread of false and misleading ideas, hate speech, and subversive propaganda online. He said in December 2016 that he believed net neutrality's days were numbered and was described by the New York Times as a stickler on conservative interpretations of telecommunications law and the limits of the FCC's authority. Now, here's the kicker. Back in 2011, Pai was then nominated for a Republican Party position on the Federal Communications Commission by President Barack Obama at the recommendation of Minority Leader Mitch McConnell. He was confirmed unanimously by the United States Senate on May 7, 2012, and was sworn in May 14, 2012, for a term that concluded on June 30, 2016. Then Paul was designated chairman of the FCC by President Donald Trump on January 2017 for a 5-year term. He was confirmed by the U.S. Senate for an additional 5-year term on October the 2nd, 2017. So, Barack Obama was the one responsible via the recommendation of somebody that hated him, i.e. Mitch McConnell, for this particular position. And it was known prior to the nomination that this guy was against net neutrality. So Obama basically put this guy into the position that he was able to rise from, i.e. a member of the FCC, into the chairmanship. And with all the stuff that Barack Obama, quote unquote, did as far as trying to protect net neutrality, he put a loaded gun in a seat and waited for the trigger to be pulled, i.e. the election of Donald Trump and the elevation of this gentleman, and I use that term loosely, into a position where he could impact net neutrality. So here we are, folks. 150 million plus people are basically behind the 8 ball because of the known opinions of this gentleman regarding net neutrality. Now, the saving grace, and there isn't one as far as this gentleman is concerned, is that the states have the ability to basically block the actions that this person is attempting to perform. I refer you to the state of California, which is at this moment processing legislation that will allow the operation of ISPs in the state of California if and only if they adhere to net neutrality rules, so that there is no throttling back or blocking of various sites. California is a major internet user, if you weren't aware of it, and obviously Silicon Valley is right there. They're totally against this guy's positions. So if Verizon and AT&T and Time Warner, etc., want to operate in the state of California, they have to allow net neutrality. And I think it's going to be a hard road for them to hoe to allow net neutrality merely in the state of California, but to block it elsewhere. And I believe that other states are going to jump on the bandwagon as far as this is concerned, so that whoever paid this guy off, as far as the net neutrality rules are concerned, they're not going to get a return on their investment, hopefully.